I do think also apparel is especially really hard. It's hard to make people like things. You either drop something and it either hits or it doesn't hit.
Yeah. Apparel would be a bad example, but like a good example would be a
like
super expensive vitamin C serum, right?
Okay,
like
sure.
You know, you have $100 vitamin C serum. What if I launch a 30? If you have native deodorant at $12, should we have sold a set $6 version?
Yeah.
That was like the same formula and like worse scents. I still don't know. Like when you go to the gas station, you have the option to choose 87, 89, or 93. You know, you have the option to choose all these octanes. You know, I just don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And I don't know. I would love to talk to somebody who's doing that. And they're like,
I feel like there are examples of that. I just can't think of it. I mean, Nike, like if you look at outlet malls, that's essentially this, right? Like when Nike, when most brands, I guess smaller brands do outlet stuff, it's like last season's inventory goes to the outlet store. Nike has like full supply chain that's completely separate that just goes to the outlets.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly what it is. And they get the benefit of that brand halo effect still of like the nice brand, and they're like, okay, this is the cheaper version. Maybe that's a great example.
Yeah, I wonder too. Like, I think if you were to launch it under the same name, I still think if I saw two Nike shoes and one was $40 and one was like $140, I'd probably still go for the $140. I think there's going to be a lot of customers, even the native example. I still think if you were like 6 and 12, I'd imagine a lot are still like, actually, I'd rather go for the 12.
Even if they're both say native.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
During the great financial crisis, like, in 2006, 2007, 2008, everyone was broke, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember reading an article in the Wall Street Journal where Tide had launched Tide Basic because they're like, okay, forget about premiumization. We need to offer discounted versions, and we don't want to discount Tide the way it is today. So we're offering Tide Basic, which is like just the cleaning you need without any of the frills, which I'm not even sure what the frills of like Tide Orange are. But, is it a great idea? Like, they offered Bounty in the same way. They're like, let's just make more cheaper versions. Call them who does this is like printers. Printers have like, here's this Epson one, here's another one that's cheaper. I do think that someone should do it with multiple brands. And I don't think that's crazy. And, maybe P&G has done it with Tide and Gain is like the cheaper version of Tide. But I think I think it's not as crazy an idea as some people may think. And I'm surprised more people don't do it.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like Stanley is like, we're capturing Stanley's a massive business with this new mug.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard insane numbers of that.
I'm sure Brewmate is killing it as a result of the Stanley craze.
Yeah, that's right. And I just wonder, like, and maybe that's a bad example, but like, I'm surprised that people just don't offer cheaper versions with a knockoff brand so that they can capture the bottom of the market.
Totally.